I used to think trading was all about being smart. Read enough books, memorize enough setups, learn all the indicators. Then surely the profits would follow. But I was wrong. My first year as a trader was filled with endless late nights, backtesting strategies and jumping between courses, mentors, and indicators. I was constantly chasing the next secret, the next system that would finally work. And yet, my account was slowly bleeding. One morning I opened my laptop, checked my charts, and realized I was afraid, not of losing money, but of myself. I didn't trust my own decisions anymore. Every trade felt like walking into a storm with no umbrella. I would enter too early, exit too late, then reverse my position out of fear. I called it adapting, but deep down, I knew it was panic. The real turning point came after one devastating trade. I broke all my rules, entered on a hunch, no stop loss, no plan. I watched the chart drop against me, and I just froze. By the time I closed the position, I had lost more than a month's worth of gains, and more importantly, I lost confidence in everything. That night, I sat in the dark and asked myself a brutal question. Is it really the market that's the problem, or is it me? That question was the beginning of my transformation. Not because I found the answer right away, but because I finally stopped lying to myself. After that night, I stopped looking outward and started looking inward. I went back through my journal, my trades, my notes, and what I saw shocked me. The entries weren't technical breakdowns. They were emotional confessions. Got scared, exited early, didn't want to miss out, entered late, didn't trust the signal, waited too long. It was all there. Not bad analysis, bad reactions. I wasn't trading a system. I was trading my feelings about the system. Here's the thing no one tells you. The brain hates uncertainty, and trading is pure uncertainty. So what does the mind do when it feels unsafe? It compensates with overthinking, hesitation, impulsiveness, and sometimes complete shutdown. And that was me. I was constantly trying to outthink the market. But what I really feared was not the market itself. It was making a mistake and having to feel it. Every chart became a test of self-worth. Every loss felt like a judgment. Every hesitation became a habit. That's when I learned about cognitive distortion, the invisible script in your head that twists reality. I wasn't seeing setups. I was seeing ghosts. Ghosts of past losses. Ghosts of missed entries. Ghosts of what if I'm wrong again. And as long as I let those ghosts drive, I would never be free. I realized something powerful. You don't trade the market. You trade your interpretation of the market. And that interpretation is shaped entirely by your mental state in the moment. That insight hit me hard, but it also gave me hope. Because if the mind was the problem, then maybe the mind could also be the solution. Once I accepted that my biggest trading enemy wasn't the market, but my own mind, I stopped chasing tools and started building discipline. I began with something painfully simple, a one-page trading plan. No more than 3 rules for entry, 1 clear stop loss, 1 exit condition. That's it. It felt mechanical at first, but that's what I needed. Because when emotions rise, rules save you. I taped that plan to my wall, and every time I wanted to break it, I forced myself to write down why. Not in a spreadsheet, in a notebook, by hand. Because I wasn't just trying to track performance, I was trying to track my mind. That became my ritual. Pre-market reset, breathe, journal intentions. Midday check-in, what am I feeling? End of day review, not just what I did, but why I did it. The more I did this, the more patterns I saw. For example, I took more impulsive trades on days I slept less. I chased setups after a fight with my girlfriend. I overtraded after watching YouTube gurus make big claims. In short, my external environment was constantly invading my internal state, and my internal state was running my trades. So I built barriers. I started using emotional triggers as signals. If I felt an urge to make it back, I stepped away. If I caught myself staring at charts, hoping, I turned them off. If I noticed tension in my chest, I wrote it down before I acted. And slowly, I started to feel something I hadn't felt in months. Control. Not control over the market, control over myself. That's when I started winning. Not every trade, but the trades I took felt clean. Win or lose, I stuck to plan. I reviewed my behavior, not just my P&L. And with that, I began building a real edge, not based on predictions, but on psychological consistency. There was a moment, a quiet moment, when I realized something had shifted. I had just closed a trade. It was a win, not huge, not viral worthy, but it followed my rules, start to finish. I journaled it, logged it, and closed my laptop. No rush, no dopamine spike, no urge to post about it, just calm. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't addicted to the outcome anymore. I had detached my identity from my performance. Before this shift, my emotions were tied to every result. Win, I was a genius. Lose, I was a fraud. Flat day, I felt like I wasted my life. Now, I saw each trade as just one frame in a long film, one decision in a series, one practice rep in a game I was committed to playing for years. I even started to appreciate my losing trades, not because I liked losing, but because losses showed me how far I had come. I no longer blamed the market. I looked at how I responded. I used to think success would feel like confidence, but real success felt more like neutrality. I didn't need every trade to work. I needed me to work, consistently. And that's the part no one talks about. The real freedom in trading doesn't come from never losing. It comes from knowing that losses don't break you anymore. You're no longer a puppet to fear, no longer a slave to what if. You show up, you follow your plan, you adjust when needed, and you grow, not in bursts, but in layers. That's when trading becomes more than a job or a hustle. It becomes a mirror, a teacher, a path to mastering not just the markets, but yourself. My biggest profits didn't come from better setups. They came from finally mastering the one thing I could always control: me.